Good morning, Marie.
Good morning, Lourdes.
Once again, welcome to Rebuilding Your FICO Score After Filing a Bankruptcy, presented by Wealth Management Financial Advisors. My name is Lourdes Macavinta, Marketing Manager here at Wealth Management, here to present Marie Deary, Senior Financial Advisor at Wealth Management Financial Advisors. The floor is yours, Marie.
Okay, thank you, Lourdes, and welcome again to Rebuilding Your Credit Score After Financial Hardship. And today we're going to go through a series of slides that hopefully is going to help you define, establish where you are, and how wealth management can help you to create a plan for the future. Rebuilding your credit after a significant hit from a financial disaster, i.e. a foreclosure, a short sale, bankruptcy, deed in lieu, or maybe a loss of job, the death of a spouse, or a divorce. Any of those items can cause a person to fall into financial distress. Also, medical bills can also cause financial hardship. But you really do not have to feel alone on this, because bankruptcy is a way of protecting you. Bankruptcy is a way of allowing you to get a fresh start. There are many myths out there about bankruptcy, but today hopefully we are going to separate the facts from the fiction that's out there. Many people who probably are going through financial hardship and thinking of a bankruptcy, a lot of guilt and shame come to mind, or that individual may feel. But you do not have to be alone. Since the financial crash of 2008, over 15% of Americans have sought protection under the bankruptcy laws of this country. So you do not have to feel ashamed or feel alone or waddle in your despair. There are help out there, and you should get all of the help that you need. When we speak of rebuilding your credit and repairing your credit, there are a couple ways an individual can approach this. If you have not filed a Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, you do not have a bankruptcy, but your credit needs to be repaired, which means that your FICO score might be 500 or 600. You may want to get your FICO score up to at least a 740. To do that, you will have to repair your credit. And you can do so by hiring a company to do it for you, or you can do it yourself. If you choose to do it yourself, Wealth Management has a credit guide that can help you to do so. If you would like to hire a company like Wealth Management, this is something that the service that we can also provide. So again, there's a difference between if you have a bankruptcy on your profile, and if you just want to repair your credit. Well, what are the steps in rebuilding your credit score after a bankruptcy? Well, the first thing that you want to do is to get a secure credit card. What is a secure credit card? It is a way of creating a positive history. And you can do so by applying for one of these cards from your local bank, your credit union. You can also start by maybe getting a small personal loan from your credit union. But these are things that can help you to start rebuilding your credit. you have to also to make sure that you make all of your payments on time. You only use about 20 to 30% of the available credit. So let's assume that you have a credit limit of $500. You do not want to use more than $100 to $150 from that credit. Now let me step back 1 second. What is a secure credit card? A secure credit card is a line of credit that is given to you by your bank based on how much money that you put up for this secure. So the secure part of it is your own money that you deposit in an account, and as a result of that, your credit card company would loan you money based on the amount of money that you have in that account. So let's say if you secure $500, then your credit limit will be $500. That credit card is used just like any other credit card. The only people that will know that this is a secure credit card is really you. There's no other way to know that this is a credit card because it looks, feels, and operates just like a regular credit card. You have an interest rate on that credit card. The good thing about a secure credit card is the interest rate is usually much lower than the average interest rate that's out there on a regular credit card because you're using your own money. So one of the key things to remember with your credit card, with your secure credit card, once you receive it from your bank, is that you really have to be responsible in building your credit and responsible in paying the credit card on time each month. You may have a minimum payment. You may have maybe $15 or $30 a month. If you can pay the full balance at the end of each month, that's a positive. You can have more than one secure card. You can have 3. All that means is that your credit score will be building much faster. So for each secure card, it will boost your FICO score by about 60 points. The diversity of credit. In your credit profile, you want to have a mix of credit because that's how the lenders look at it. So you may want to have maybe 2 credit cards. If you have a car, you may have a car loan, a mortgage, student loan, and maybe some other type of credit. I have a list that I consider what is good credit versus bad credit. And you may notice that I have a question mark on the credit card because credit cards can be positive and it can be negative. If you have too much of it, it is a negative. If you have 1 or 2 credit cards or 3 or 4 and you use those credit cards responsibly, then it can be a plus. A car loan is definitely a good debt to have. A mortgage is a good debt to have. Student loan is a good debt to have. But, of course, the credit card's a question mark. If it is used properly, it's a plus. If not, it could be a negative. Taxes, if you pay your taxes on time every year, that's a plus. Because if you're trying to purchase a home, the first thing your lender will ask you for are your taxes because they want to see that you are a contributing member of society and you do pay taxes, and the amount of money that you say you earn each year is what you actually file, what you actually tell Uncle Sam each year. So that's a plus whenever you can say to your lender, here are my 2012 taxes, and I made $58,000 for the year. That is a plus. The other aspect to your credit is monitoring your credit. Now, there are many companies out there that advertise monitoring your credit for a certain amount of money. However, there are many websites out there that can actually monitor your credit via sending you an email every time someone accesses your account, or sending you an email if your account goes under a certain level. So let's say if you have a credit card with a $500 limit, and your limit and there is a activity in the account, let's say your available credit dropped to $50, you may get an alert if you have a monitoring service. Again, if you go online, you will find a lot of those services free. I know one site that we here at Shore Management use quite a bit is Credit Karma, I believe it's called. And again, that is a service where you can get your credit score from all three bureaus. It's a free service, so you can monitor that way and not have to pay an additional expense each month, since you're starting afresh and trying to cut back on all of your expenses. So again, this is something that you want to do. You want to check your credit score on a regular basis, at least once a month, to make sure that you're on track, your credit score is not dropping for whatever the reason. Okay, the next slide is start building your budget. Building your budget is extremely important in trying to establish a healthy financial outlook. A solid budget can help you maximize your cash flow. It can help you to really see where you're spending your money, and it can help you to not overspend. There are lots of technology out there today that can help you to put a budget together. We here at Shore Management have a budget outline that we can send to you, that all you have to do is to fill it out and maintain it and be able to live by it. But one of the fundamental tools that you will need is a budget. Step one in setting up your budget, you want to always create a budget that you can live by and you can stick to. If you put together a budget that is not realistic, then what's going to end up happening is that you are going to stray from that budget. You want to make sure that you write everything down. Write down where you spend your money, how you spend your money. Monitor your checking account online every day. That may sound, cliche or what, but think about it. People with money, Bank of America, watch your account by the minute. They monitor how you spend your money. There are several websites out there that monitor how you spend your money. And if other people can monitor how you spend your money, then you should also be in a position to monitor how you spend your money. You may track it by using a spreadsheet, but many cell phones out there today, there are ways that you can check your account on a daily basis. I highly recommend that. You must understand and be able to use technology and understand your bottom line. Your BAM, as my husband call it, but you have to understand what are some of the bare bone minimum that you need for the week. What is the minimum you will spend? What are your fixed costs? Your fixed costs are things that like your rent, your utility bills, your gas for your vehicle. I mean, there are some basic things that, items or expenses that you need each month. So you must sit down and think about what are all the basic things that you need and what's the cost of that. If you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your utility bills, you have to buy gas for your car, you have to pay your car note. And these might be some of the basic things that you need each month. So you want to make sure that you understand those. Paying the minimum each month, or not necessarily paying the minimum, but keeping your financials or your bills at its minimum. You want to work to lower your bills. If you have a home, you want to modify that home. If you have a second loan, you want to renegotiate the interest rate on that loan. If you are renting, or if you're renting, you may want to consider, do I really need a 2-bedroom apartment if it's just me, or can I have a 1-bedroom apartment? So these are ways that you can look at on how do I lower my expenses each month? How do I save more and spend less? Setting up automatic pay to make sure that you are not missing payments each month where you are going to be charged a late fee, because you want to avoid all of the late fees as much as possible. So one way you can do that is setting up automatic pay. So you know that your bills are going to be paid each month. Your utilities, your car payment, your credit card bill, these are all things that you can set up to be paid electronically. Streamline your expenses. Budget. Put your budget in place. Minimize your monthly expenses. Because at the end of the day, what you're trying to do, you want to maximize the available cash. So you can now create a savings account where you can have an emergency saving, or you can start putting away monies into your retirement fund or into your 401k. Because most people who are in financial or having financial problems, they're also, before they get to the point that they are in today, they have already maxed out their 401k or withdrew money from their retirement. So chances are, if you had a home and that home was foreclosed, or you had to do a short sale, chances are you have gone into your 401k or your retirement account to keep that home from going into foreclosure, which at the end of the day it did. So today you're where you are today as a result of mistakes that were made in the past. So you want to rebuild those accounts, your 401k or your retirement account. So you want to make sure that you're creating that cash flow that will allow you to save money for the future. You know, this is a pet peeve of mine. Payday loans or car title loans. So I have this: what to avoid when you are rebuilding your financial future. Of course, anything that says guaranteed loan regardless of your credit. We'll give you a car regardless of your credit. No one gives a crap about credit. That's not true. Any credible car dealership looks at your credit report and will give you credit based on your credit history. Avoid payday loans. It's a debt trap. You start out with one loan, but before you know it, payday loan expect you to to miss or to find yourself in a position where you're unable to pay that first loan. So what end up happening, you will have to take a second loan to pay off the first loan. And this is where they will triple. You will probably pay 200 or 300% on that first loan, the second loan, the third loan, and it is nothing more than a debt trap. So regardless of the situation that you may find yourself in, payday loan, quick cash, whatever it's called, you want to stay clear. You want to avoid it. Car title loans, it's another one. If you miss one payment, that company comes and take the car away from you. So these are the things that desperate people do. Desperate people take desperate steps. So payday loan, car title loan, any type of loan that is given to a person that all they have to prove is that they have a job and they get a paycheck each month, and that qualifies you for that loan. It's nothing more than a debt trap. Stay away from it. Address any pending legal matters. But again, let me step back 1 second. This is all about rebuilding your credit. It's not about repairing your credit. There is a difference, because once you file a bankruptcy, all of those negative items are no longer exist. It may still show up on your credit report, but it does not exist. It's debt that have been discharged. And so FICA does not take that debt into consideration. What they take into consideration is that the bankruptcy. And with the bankruptcy, you lose about 100 points on your credit profile. But all of those other things that is in your credit profile, it's not counted when FICA does the scoring. Debt that will not be discharged under any type of bankruptcy are unpaid taxes, child support, alimony, government-backed student loans, judgment. Those are debt that will not be discharged in a bankruptcy. I am not an attorney, so I'm not giving you any type of legal advice. We do have an attorney here in the office that will be happy to speak with you regarding any of the issues that we're talking about here today. But these are issues that you will have to settle, and I highly recommend that you speak with an attorney after the bankruptcy to see how best you can negotiate those payments. Again, I highly recommend that you get the advice or the representation, get legal representation in event that you have to settle some other issues, so that you can truly get a clean start. So we're going to talk a little bit now about repairing your credit. If for whatever reason you need to repair your credit, remember, anything in your credit profile can be disputed and get deleted from the 3 credit reporting agencies. The first thing that you want to do when looking to repair your credit on your own is to you can get the do-it-yourself kit from Wealth Management, and you can start doing the work yourself, or you can hire a company to do the work for you. But you will have to, if you're going to do it yourself, the first thing that you need to do is to pull a copy of your credit report from the 3 credit reporting agencies and go through the report and delete any item that will pull your credit score down. Any type of collection account will pull your credit score down. Any type of late pay, any late pay, student loans that you have out there that you have not deferred, those can pull your credit score down. And it's very easy to reestablish your student loan in good standing. And I can talk with you more about that. But again, if you want to know more about the credit repair side, definitely you can get the booklet, do it yourself, or you can hire a company like Wealth Management to take on that task for you. But in this society today, there's very little that you can do without good credit. You also it's also important for you not just to have good credit so you can get more credit cards, but it is the next job or your next promotion. It is that apartment that you're trying to get. It is that student loan that you're going to have to sign off for your child who wants to go off to college. However you look at it, it is extremely important that you maintain a healthy credit profile. Again, you want to take care of unpaid taxes because this is something that is not going to go away. Any tax consultant can help you with this. I am a certified tax consultant, so if you have any tax issue, it's something that Wealth Management can also help you with. It's very difficult for you to secure a healthy financial future or a healthy financial plan if you do not have the type of career or that can get you there. Long-term employment, stable employment, it can help you to establish, solid credit or a financial future. If you have good employment, lenders look at you as a good potential person to lend to. If you do not have a job, then you're poor credit risk. You're higher credit risk if you have a good career or if you have a good job. So you wanna do all of the necessary things that one has to do to secure a good career or find yourself in a good job, so that you can develop that strong financial profile that we all want. Again, thank you all for listening today, and I hope that I will be able to answer any questions that you have. And if you need further help, we're just a phone call away. And there are many other webinars that are scheduled. These webinars are scheduled based on customer request. Again, they're scheduled based on customer request, and this is one of the webinars that potential customers requested of us. So thanks again, and we'll now open it up for questions.
Thank you for that, Marie. We have one question coming in from Long Beach. Is it better to have more credit cards or less credit cards in order to build your credit?
Well, to build your credit, you have to remember why you are in the position that you are today, in a position of rebuilding your credit. And so if you have credit, you want to be able to use your credit wisely. Your credit card should be used for long-term projects, not for grocery shopping or airline tickets. And so you have to use your credit wisely. So if you're walking around with 3 or 4 credit cards, that's okay if you can manage it. It's not okay if all of those cards are maxed out. And what is maxed out? Maxed out for the creditor, the person, the company that issued you that credit card. Maxed out is when you are using more than 30% of the available credit. If you're using more than 30% of the available credit, your lender is watching that account. So if you think your available credit is $500 and you use $500, every month you lose 30 points from your credit score. So again, you can have 4, 5, 6 credit cards, but you have to make sure that you're not using more than 20 to 30% of the available credit on those credit cards. One of the other things that I forgot to mention is that when you pull your credit report and check your credit score, no points is taken away from you by you pulling your credit score. Every time someone else pulls your credit profile, you lose 2 points. So you really want to monitor who is looking at your credit report, because anytime someone other than yourself pulls your credit report, that is costing you. So if 10 people pull your credit report, multiply that by 2, and that's how many points you're losing on your credit score. If you pull your credit report from Credit Check Total or Credit Karma, you're not losing any points. When we pull your credit profile to check your credit report or to look at your credit score, you are not losing any points.
So that's like a soft credit pull, right, Marie?
Pardon me?
So that's like a soft credit pull versus a hard credit pull?
Yes, that would be considered a soft credit pull. A soft credit pull, you may notice that you may get lots of offers in the mail for credit cards, but those are just based on the zip code that you live in and the fact that you are employed, because on most credit reports it would list where you are employed and what position that you are in. And so the soft pull is a company saying, I want to pull all homeowners in a particular zip code, and then they will send you offers for credit cards. But remember, they are not sending you the credit card. They're sending you an application. And once you fill that application out, then that becomes a hard pull. Or if you go to a department store and they said to you, oh, you can get, we have a 30% off. All you have to do is to fill out, give us some basic information, and you can qualify for that 30% off. But so the minute you give them your Social Security number, because that's all they need to pull your credit report, your Social Security number, your address, they pull your credit report, that's a hard pull. And one of the things that lenders look at is how often your credit is being pulled. And so that becomes an inquiry on your credit report. So at the back of your credit report, you will see a list of companies that have pulled your credit report, and you may see 20 companies pulling your credit report, and you may not know, and you may not have given them any authorization to pull your credit report. Well, that's illegal. Perfect example. If you are shopping for a car, you have to be very careful, because anywhere you go, that dealer is going to pull your credit report. And if in one day you went to 3 dealerships, those 3 dealerships will pull your credit report. Most dealerships in Southern California pull credit report from Experian. So you will notice on your Experian file, you may have 10 dealerships pull in your Experian file, and you may not see those on your Equifax or on your TransUnion. So again, you have to be very careful.
Great. Thank you for that information, Marie. We have another question coming in. What is the difference between a secured and an unsecured credit card?
A secured credit card is when you put up your own money. This is why it's called a secured credit card. So if you apply to Bank of America, let's say, for a secured credit card, Bank of America will request, if you are approved, Bank of America will request they will ask you, well, what do you want your limit to be? So they will establish an account, and if you want your limit to be $500, they will take that $500 from you and put it in a secure account. And that's the money that you are using. It is your own money you are using to make all of the various purchases. When the bank, because remember, the bank is using the secure card as a way of judging whether or not you are a good candidate for an unsecured credit card. So after you have made regular payments, you did not use more than the available credit, you made your payments on time each month. After about 6 months, that bank will close out that secure account, send you that money back, whatever monies that you have in that account, they will send that money back to you and issue you a regular credit card. And usually that happens in about 6 to 12 months. And most people who would get a secure card, these are people who have filed a bankruptcy. If you have not filed for bankruptcy and your credit is and you have a lot of derogatory items on your credit, chances of you getting a secure credit card is very slim. Remember, for most people who have filed a bankruptcy, these same people have seen their credit score jump from, let's say, before the bankruptcy, they maybe had a 620. After the bankruptcy, you can find that same individual, if they have a secure credit card, their credit score can jump to 780, 740 in no time, because after a bankruptcy you have no derogatory items, and so everything is new, it's clean, it's fresh. You are making a fresh start. Another one of the myths out there with bankruptcy is that if you have a short sale, a foreclosure, a bankruptcy, you will not be able to purchase a home in 10 years or not be able to reestablish your credit for a long time. That's not true. If 2 years after a bankruptcy, you can purchase a home, you can get an FHA loan. And so there are a lot of myths out there about what you can and cannot do after filing a bankruptcy. And again, those are just myths. 96% of consumers have built a very strong credit profile after a year of filing bankruptcy. You also have to remember at all times what got you in the position that you are in so that you had to file bankruptcy, and you have to make sure that you do not repeat those same mistakes. So let me give you an example. let's say you got a credit card from Bank of America. A year after bankruptcy, you got like 4 credit cards. And out of those 4 credit cards, you've had about 3 late pays. You have 1 collection account. Your credit score will drop real fast, because when your lender looks at you, they say, wait a minute, you just filed bankruptcy. It's only a year since you filed bankruptcy, and already you're defaulting or you're late on your payments. So instantly you become a poor credit risk after bankruptcy, where most people are after bankruptcy, they are very high. They are good credit risk instead of being a poor credit risk.
Great, thanks for that. Another question coming in. We've recently filed a bankruptcy and we're in review for a modification. Would it be a good idea to open 1 or 2 credit cards to help our credit score since we were discharged from our bankruptcy?
Okay, so again, yes, this is the time that you want to reestablish your credit, or so you can apply for a secure credit card, because remember, the mere fact that you filed bankruptcy and in the process of a modification, that's a very good position to be in because you have no debt. So when the underwriter looks at your file, your debt-to-income ratio will be very low because you have no debt. So that's a positive as far as the modification is concerned. But yes, definitely, this is a good time to apply for secure credit cards. And by the way, you can have more than 1 secure credit card. You can have 2 or 3 secure credit cards. But one of the things that you want to also avoid is department store cards. But I think today most department store cards are with GE Credit or one of those big credit card companies. But if there's a company out there like a furniture store that wants to give you credit, you wanna avoid those because they count very low on your FICO score.
Good to know, Marie. How long does it usually take to restore your credit after a bankruptcy?
You can, there is one study that shows that 96% of consumers who file bankruptcy were able to restore their credit within a year. Because the minute if you file a Chapter 7, the minute that Chapter 7 is discharged, you can start, or even before, you can start rebuilding your credit. If you're in a Chapter 13, you can start rebuilding your credit right away. Because let's say if you file a Chapter 7 or file a Chapter 13 and you have a mortgage, you're paying on a mortgage, your credit score is going up, and it's going to go up much faster because you have an installment debt, which is your mortgage payment. Or if you have student loans that you're paying on, again, that will increase your FICO score at a much faster rate than if you did not have those debts out there.
Great. So those personal loans would be considered a positive credit.
Yes, once you're paying on them, once it's not delinquent, it is positive. The student loans, the things that is not considered is like if you're making child payments those are not normally those are not listed on your credit profile. The only time those are listed on your credit profile is if you are delinquent on them.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. Is it a good idea to close credit card accounts that I rarely use?
No, it's never a good idea to close accounts that are open. You always want to keep you do not want to have too much debt on that credit card. So if you're not using it once in a while, you probably want to use it to fill up your tank, and at the end of the month just pay it off. But it's not a good. It's never good to close accounts. Now, if that account is closed, if that account is closed either by you or by the lender, it has no bearing on your FICO score unless it is a delinquent account. But if the account is in a positive status and you close that account no longer has any bearing on your FICO score.
Great. Thank you for that. So when you file a bankruptcy, is that almost like starting from the base credit score, and what is the starting credit score?
Well, it all depends. It all depends on if you have no credit, zero credit. Let's say you're a high school student or you have no credit. It's just, you have no credit, but your chances of getting a secure credit card is very great. If you are an adult and you have derogatory items on your credit profile, that's not good. If you're an adult and you have no credit, if you are 30 or 40 years old and you have no credit, it's a red flag. Because the lender, and sometimes you ask, the discrimination of whatever. But if you're 30 years old and you have no credit, where have you been? Have you been in prison? Have you been out of the country? Where have you been? So that will be the next. So it's a big red flag for the lender if you are a certain age and you have no credit. You've been living under the radar or something is going on.
So just to be clear, is a bankruptcy considered a negative event on your credit?
A bankruptcy is a negative on your credit profile because you lose 100 points from your. So let's say if your credit score was 740 and you file a bankruptcy, now your credit score is 640. And all of those accounts that are now charged off is on your credit profile. So if you're going to Visa for a credit card, Visa can see that based on your credit score, you filed bankruptcy and these are the accounts, because there are software out there today that in the past you would only get a credit score. But now the lender can see whose accounts were charged off as a result of the bankruptcy. However, the flip side of that is bankruptcy is also seen as a positive because you took the necessary steps to protect what you have. So for most people may have derogatory items sitting on their credit profile for 6 years, for 7 years, that's not being very responsible. If you have too much debt out there for your income and there is no way that you can pay those bills, then you will need to get the advice from a bankruptcy attorney as to what your next step should be. Did I answer that question?
I think so. That was pretty clear. So with that question or with that response, a bankruptcy can be seen as both a positive and a negative on your credit report?
Yes, because some people file a bankruptcy to save their home from foreclosure. Some people file a bankruptcy because some collection agency was trying to garnish their account. It could be several reasons. I mean, if you file a bankruptcy to prevent the lender from auctioning off your home, that's a good thing. If somebody got a judgment against you, let's say for $20,000 or $30,000, and they want to garnish your account, and you file bankruptcy, that's a good thing, because with the BK it will stop the garnishment immediately. So there are several reasons why a consumer may look to file a bankruptcy, and it may not be just delinquent debt. It could be to stop things from happening.
Great.
You know, they could have a business, someone could have a business, and the business is not doing very good, but they were the financial person responsible for the debt of that business, even though on their personal side they're fine on their personal side, but they're the guarantor for the business. So which means that the business debt is haunting them. So they may want to file a bankruptcy just to get rid of all of the business debt that's out there. Maybe they're closing down the business because the business have not been doing very well, and they just want to protect themselves from the liability of the business. And this is why I always say, if you're going to have a business, it is good that it is better if you can establish a corporation or an LLC to remove the business liability from you personally. If you have an LLC or you have a corporation, the debt of that LLC or that corporation is not your personal debt. It is the corporation or the LLC debt, and you are not held liable for that debt. But if you have a business that you're operating as a sole proprietor, as an individual, then you are responsible for that debt. If it is not anything that is not a corporation or an LLC, you are personally liable for that debt. And that's how you may end up having to file a bankruptcy to protect your personal property from the creditors.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that information, Marie. I believe that was our last question. Again, everyone, thank you for coming to our webinar this morning. Next week, we are going to be discussing the Affordable Care Act for individuals and families, and also for businesses. So that's 2 webinars next week, as well as 2 more webinars in addition to those 2 for the rest of the month. Please make sure to visit the webinar schedule on the website while you are here. And thank you again, Marie, for your presentation.
And thanks again.
You can reach us at www.wealthmanagementlb.com. And everyone, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.